What's up, A to Z Sports Live on a Friday, and we're out at Mill Creek Brewery in Nolensville. Always an awesome spot here at their tap room. It's phenomenal. You see all the different colors of cans of beer back there. They do fantastic stuff here at Mill Creek Brewery in Nolensville. And we've got the Del Rey Mexican Lager here with us this morning. And Zach, we were talking a lot of NFL playoffs today, but there's a massive story that came out yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening, with DeShaun Watson potentially demanding and talking about a trade away from the Houston Texans because of how the Texans handled the hire of their new GM and how that will – and DeShaun Watson's going to be frustrated regardless if he's traded or not, but that can completely shake up the AFC South. The AFC South is already about to go under a big change with the addition of Trevor Lawrence, and now Urban Meyer is maybe meeting face-to-face with the Jags about the head coaching job. So a lot of stuff to talk about this morning. Before we get to NFL Wildcard Weekend, we'll talk about the biggest potential upset of the Wildcard Weekend. That includes the Tennessee Titans. Also, I'll get a new betting strategy. We'll talk about Zach's new trivia game that he's got for me and for all of you guys, as well as Ain't That Good News, because it is a Friday. But good news is we're out here at Mill Creek Brewery in Nolensville. We're going to have a fantastic show.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be an excellent show. We always love coming out to Nolensville. It's got a great atmosphere, good tap room, and they've got TVs to come watch these games. So they've got you covered here. Before we get going, though, please share the show on a Friday, bottom right corner of your screen if you're watching on Periscope/Twitter. Here in a couple of months, it will just be Twitter. Periscope will be no more, but we will still be broadcasting live. And that's why we have expanded. We also broadcast on YouTube. We also broadcast on Twitch and on Facebook. So hit us up on those 4 different social media outlets. If you're on Facebook, bottom left corner of your screen, share now to public. Sharing is caring. And on a Friday, Austin, been waiting a long time for this weekend to happen.
Yep.
And so I am jacked up, as they say, a little throwback, jacked up for Wild Card Weekend.
Yep, let's get to it. Welcome to A to Z Sports. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at A to Z Sports. Check our Facebook page at A to Z Sports Nashville. We are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, and we go live every weekday morning at 8 Central Time. Got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for our show, for you guys as well. Renters Warehouse Nashville, the professional landlords in the Nashville area at renterswarehouse.com. Mandu, the Pulse of Fitness for 1 15-minute workout equals 5+ hours in the weight room at mandu.com. Your first workout's free. The Tucker Agency, Nashville's independent insurance agency to save you money at tuckertn.com. Calvin and Settle for your brand new hardwood floors and finishings, calvinandsettle.com. And the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Zach, we were talking NFL playoffs today. That was the plan. But something happened in the AFC South yesterday with DeShaun Watson being frustrated with how the Texans went about the hiring of Nick Caserio as their new GM, and he is not happy about that.
Yeah, so the report came down yesterday, and Ian Rappaport tweeted out, DeShaun Watson extremely unhappy with the organization after the owner, Cal McNair, informed him that he would be involved in the GM and coach hiring process. As we all know, Bill O'Brien took the Titanic all the way down to the bottom of the ocean here earlier this year. They're trying to rebuild a brand new ship. He said, hey, look, DeShaun Watson, we want you a part of this. But no. Nothing happened. In the hiring process, they did not essentially heed DeShaun Watson's advice. So that was Ian Rappaport's report. Well, Adam Schefter dives a little deeper, which I thought was very interesting. So what happened was Watson actually offered input to the ownership group of the Houston Texans.
Correct.
He gave him a handful, and they were closely connected to DeShaun Watson's group. Everybody, if you're of that status and you're a quarterback in the NFL, you've got a group of people that you work with, right? LeBron's got a team. DeShaun Watson's got a team. You've got teams. So they sprinkled out some names to the ownership group, but here was the deal. All DeShaun Watson wanted was to be heard. He just wanted them to talk or pick up the phone and call some of the names that DeShaun Watson suggested. Well, what happened was the ownership group and Cal McNair, they didn't do that. They didn't do any of that. They didn't pick up the phone. They didn't reach out to any of the names that Deshaun Watson said. And so a part of this hiring process of their brand new general manager, which, as you said, Nick Caserio just got hired. He is the guy. He's got New England ties. That was the man that they targeted. But here's where I'm at. They kind of pulled the rug on Deshaun Watson. You can't say that you're going to do something and then don't do it completely.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to, I mean, it's a sales job, right? I mean, this is the easiest sell that you could do. All you have to do is make sure your player feels appreciated. You don't have to do what he says. He doesn't, he cashes the checks, okay? He doesn't write the checks. There's a big difference. But they didn't do that. So now, on top of them giving all the power to Bill O'Brien, him taking all of that power, trading away one of the best wide receivers in the league in DeAndre Hopkins to Arizona, and one of the biggest weapons that Deshaun Watson had. Then they get into a 4-win season. They're no good. Deshaun Watson leads the league in passing. He has no help. Will Fuller goes on IR.
Will Fuller got suspended for PEDs.
That's right.
Then Kenny Stills got cut. Randall Cobb got hurt, and now they just had Brandon Cooks and Kiki Kuti.
Yeah, and it almost backdoored their way into a win against the Titans. But Deshaun Watson is not happy, and now rumblings that he is going to demand a trade. Austin, this is massive for the Tennessee Titans because they're about to get Trevor Lawrence in their division. They could get rid of a superstar quarterback in Deshaun Watson because of unhappiness.
Yeah.
This sounds like an NFL or an NBA script.
It does. It really does. Where the NBA players have so much power. The NBA players have more power than any other professional league players in this country. Now, Rob says it looks very bad in the front office, and the Texans front office has already been looking bad for how they've handled their roster and giving too much power to Bill O'Brien. The way they handled their old GM by basically firing him because he took time away to help out his sick wife with cancer and Rick Smith. That was a very bad, cold-blooded look on the Texans organization. There's been ownership changeover, as you've mentioned, and that's why this is a big deal. Because the one thing the Texans have to do, and Zach, you know this, is make sure Deshaun Watson, who they did pay, they gave him a huge contract right before the season started in the summer. Deshaun Watson has to be happy. That's the only thing the Texans have.
Money doesn't buy you love.
No.
And that is the problem. They gave him all of this money, but if you're unhappy, all the money in the world cannot fix that. And you said the writing's on the wall. This ownership group, I feel like, and it's a different situation, but we saw this with the Titans and the switchover when Bud Adams passed away. And they were not making good decisions at all. They were making very bad decisions at the top. And it trickled down to the back-to-back years that the Titans picked either 1 or 2. And those were the results of bad ownership group. Now, you have a all-star. You have a superstar in Deshaun Watson. You have to keep him happy. But at the end of the day, he still is under contract.
Yeah, and
he signed the contract.
And he's got a big contract. I'm about to pull up the...
Deshaun Watson signed the contract. He has to play for the Texans. Now, usually, again, this is why it feels like the NBA. If somebody's unhappy, we're seeing James Harden right now still play for the Houston Rockets. He's not happy. He demanded a trade a couple of months ago. He didn't go to Brooklyn. He didn't go to Philadelphia. And both of those teams are doing very well right now. Houston, so it's kind of funny. 2 disgruntled superstars in the same city.
Yeah, and here's the interesting thing about the Deshaun Watson contract is while he's got a very nice signing bonus of $27 million, his base salary this past year was only 1.1. His base salary next year is 10.5. But then in 2022, this base salary goes up to $35 million. And so there's a lot of money left on the back end of this contract that Deshaun Watson signed with the Texans. So how tradable was that contract?
He's so good and he's so young, it is.
Right. This is not the Carson Wentz situation where the Eagles are trying to dump a bad contract with a bad quarterback and get rid of that guy. This is a Pro Bowl quarterback who's set to make a lot of money over the next 5 years, who can help your team maybe win multiple playoff games and, contend for a potential appearance at the Super Bowl. So here's the question we're going to get to, because no doubt Deshaun Watson being frustrated will have an impact on the AFC South. If there's headbutting in Houston, the Houston Texans are not going to be able to take advantage of Deshaun Watson's skill set on the field as much as they could as if he was happy. So the question we want to ask you guys is, what percentage chance do you think Deshaun Watson forces a trade from the Texans? What percentage chance do you think Deshaun Watson forces a trade from the Texans? Real quick, let me tell you guys about Mandu, the pulse of fitness, where one 15-minute workout equals 5+ hours in the weight room. It's full body electronic muscle stimulation. So a lot of people always start the new year. You have goals and you have fitness goals. You want to achieve those fitness goals, maybe get yourself looking better so you can go to the beach this spring and summer after the pandemic last year. Mandu can actually help you get on the path to hitting your goals because they show you the science behind it, the in-body analysis. Their trainers are well educated and can help you get to whatever you need to get to. Mandu.com. Your first workout is absolutely free. It's a great workout. 15 minutes. It's easy on your body. You're not going to get hurt doing it. You're going to rehab old injuries as well at Mandu.com.
Yeah, and you can go check out our video. We did one on Tuesday. Austin and I, it gives you an example. And you have to actually take part in it. You have to feel it to believe it, but you do get an opportunity to see it. So you can go back in our video archive on Facebook and on Periscope to see that. Here's the reason why we asked this question, because it was actually a comment early on in the show. G-Man on Base on Periscope said, I wouldn't trade him at all. He'll get over it. That's the reason why we're asking this question, because I don't think G-Man on Base is completely far off. I think that could be a way of thinking if you're the Houston Texans. But what percentage chance do you think Deshaun Watson forces a trade to the Texans? Let's get to the comments and let's get to some numbers. Titans for Life says 15%. So that is not very high starting out. Right. Rob says 0. Titans 8251 says 10. Brian says 60. John says 20. Guy says only 10%. John Michael Presley goes with 45. Steven on YouTube says 50%. 30% from Frank, 35 from Alex, 20 from Scott, 60 to 65 from Travis White. Ricky goes 25. Deborah goes 20. Kevin goes 60. Steven says 100%. It's a done deal. So that is by far the highest percentage we've gotten. Philip goes 5%. He's not Harden. Well, if it would be 5% is where Harden is right now, right? He's not getting a trade either.
No, it's not happening.
Corey says 75. We've got 4 coming in from Shrike. A lot of numbers rolling in here on a Friday live from Mill Creek. Austin, where does your percentage hit of a disgruntled, unhappy Deshaun Watson trying to get out of Dodge of Houston?
Like actually forcing a trade, right? Because this is early. We're early in this process. It's just January 8th. They haven't hired a head coach yet. They did hire Nick Caserio, the GM. So I think Deshaun Watson, there's no way he's going to be traded. He can't be traded officially until the new year starts, which is in mid-March. So we've got 2+ months for this to play out, which awesome. Let's have all the drama in the world of who are the Texans going to hire as a head coach? Will that head coach be able to smooth over the frustrations that Watson has right now? The Texans have no choice but to hire a head coach for Deshaun Watson. That's all they can do. It's a weird situation because we thought that's where the Titans were when they fired Malarkey. It was, who is the next head coach to maximize Marcus Mariota? But they hired a defensive head coach. But then we found out Mariota was the problem. Deshaun Watson's not the problem. Deshaun Watson is a solution. So they have to hire one of these offensive names around the league, whether it's Bieniemy or Brian Dable or hell, even Arthur Smith could be on the list. They have to hire one of those top offensive names to help smooth things over. For the next 2 months, it's a long time. A lot of things are going to happen. I think
at least you got the number 3 overall pick, right?
Yeah. No, that is in Miami with Pitbull. But
hey, Mr. 305.
I think the percentage chance that he forces a trade from the Texans, I like the 12% number.
12?
It's low. 12th overall pick, 12%. It's not going to happen. He's not going to force it. He's just pissed off right now. And like somebody like G-Man says, he's going to get over it. He'll get over it because they're going to make a splashy head coach hire because they do have an attractive job because of Deshaun Watson.
They don't have any picks. You said this. I'm surprised at the 12%. All I can go based on is what you say on this show, Austin.
Yeah.
And I heard you earlier this week talk about Houston not being in such a bad situation and not having any picks and having to.
When I was comparing it to other
But
jobs,
it's
that are
still
open,
they're still in the same situation.
I understand that, but it's still an ability to go in there.
What makes you think Houston's going to get that much better?
Because DeShaun Watson is really damn good. That's why.
But that only gets you 4 wins.
Well,
we saw that this year.
Zach, I understand, but the next set, like you,
do you understand?
Yes, I do. I do. Stop asking me if I understand.
Because you keep saying I understand, but I question that because you're 12%. But earlier this week you said Houston's a terrible job.
I didn't say it was a terrible job. I just said it was in a worse situation than the Jags' job. I was comparing two situations, and one was not as good as the other.
And they don't have any picks.
Being the head coach of the Houston Texans and having DeShaun Watson to work with for the next 4 to 5 years is a good situation.
See, here's where I'm at. DeShaun Watson is unhappy. How unhappy, right? That is the biggest question. Well, he's unhappy enough to go to his agent to leak this story to Adam Schefter. Adam Schefter had like 4 paragraphs on his Facebook page.
And his Instagram was the same thing. I was like, what am I reading, an article on Instagram?
You know why? Because he got some information.
That important.
DeShaun Watson's agent sat there and had a phone conversation with Adam Schefter. That tells me that DeShaun Watson's pretty damn unhappy. And when a person's unhappy at work, what usually happens? They leave. They find a way to leave. In traditional modern America, you just quit or you're fired or you mess things up so bad and you bring things so bad in the break room that your boss has to fire you. In this situation, you have to force a trade. I think this right now is a 51% chance that he's gone. I think he is
not on the fence.
I think he is more likely than not to leave.
No.
Unhappy wife, unhappy life.
No.
That is the case. Unhappy star QB. They have no.
When's the last?
Look at the future.
Zach, you said this earlier.
Future. Does the future look optimistic or bleak for the Houston Texans?
I mean, if those are the only two options, which are drastically different, like optimistic or bleak are like so far apart. It's not bleak. It's more optimistic than bleak because of what DeShaun Watson can do.
An aging J.J. Watt, a questionable defense, a terrible secondary, a lack of wide receivers, an unhappy quarterback. I'm not done. Hold on. I'm not done. I've just named 5 things that are not good. An unhappy quarterback, and then a general manager who is hired over the quarterback's head who is not appreciative, and then a division that they are in about to be last because Trevor Lawrence and the Jags will improve. Yes. I don't know how much. The Colts are a good organization. They are. And the Titans, their playoff window is now. So that's not opportunistic. That is bleak.
It's not bleak, man. Like there's so much ground in the middle of where this thing falls.
Oh, well, yeah, because they have so many draft picks for it to be great.
It's not that draft.
They don't have any draft picks.
I know that.
You talked about Kevin Dodd. Look, I listen to you, Austin. No. I do. I sit here and my ears are open. My mouth opens a lot, but my ears are wide open as well. And earlier this week, you told me about Kevin Dodd and the impact of a bad draft pick.
Yeah.
You know what's a bad draft pick? Not having one.
Yes.
Not having a top 5 pick. So all I'm doing is I'm just reiterating what you have said and told to me through my ears.
That's fine.
But the future is bleak for the Houston Texans.
They
are in complete reset mode with an unhappy quarterback.
Like you said,
there's no worse situation.
To start the show, you said this doesn't happen. Quarterbacks like this that make this much money that are this good don't get traded. So where's the precedent with
Don't
this?
Usually, but we're in a new era.
So, but you think this is gonna when's the last time this has happened? That a quarterback at this point in their prime, who is a Pro Bowl quarterback, when is the last Pro Bowl quarterback to be traded?
They haven't been in a bleak situation like this. I mean, you check the computer. It's a good question. I'm not discrediting the question, but you think about it. No organization has fired their head coach and general manager who has traded away all of their draft picks over the last couple of years for, I would say, a not a top level, but a top half left tackle. If you trade away 2 first-round pick for Laramie Tunsil, his ass better be Tyrone Smith or the best left tackle in the league, and he's not that. I think he backdoored. You talk about backdooring your way into a Pro Bowl. DeShaun Watson backdoored his way into the Pro Bowl because Ryan Tannehill should have been in, and Laramie Tunsil backdoored his way into the Pro Bowl because of his name. He was not worth the money. He was not worth the picks. They have a complete reset mode in a division that's getting better. I don't usually spell on air, but that is bleak. Bleak. B-L-E-E-K. Bleak.
Is it E-A-K?
I don't know. That's why I don't spell on air.
Did you do that on purpose?
What do you want me to say about the Houston Texans' future? It's not good.
I'm looking at trades.
You're not going to find one. You would know. We know the league. I know the National Football League.
The closest that I've got, Steve Young doesn't count. Brett Favre doesn't count because they did nothing in their first.
Atlanta
spot.
didn't want him.
Right.
Glansville was like, get the hell out of here. That was a
Josh
move.
McDaniels feud leads to Jay Cutler Denver exit. So back in 2009.
Smoking Jays.
But Jay Cutler and Jack Gentry, who's here with us at Mill Creek, is the biggest Jay Cutler fan ever. Jay Cutler wasn't a Pro Bowl quarterback. Carson Palmer was traded to the Raiders in 2011. And that was off of a first and second round pick for Palmer is what the trade was for. But that was when there was an injury. It was mid-season, and there was an injury to Jason Campbell, the starter there. Nick Foles and Sam Bradford, right? We're like all these quarterbacks we're talking about are not anywhere close to Deshaun Watson. And that's why it's not going to happen.
Do you think – I think – this is my opinion. I think that the NBA is starting to influence the NFL. Player power, right? Everybody has a voice. Everybody has social media, right? That impacts. When you talk about Brett Favre and Jay Cutler getting traded away or Steve Young getting traded from Tampa to San Francisco, they couldn't go on their phones and speak their voice. Now they have a voice, and we've seen the movement in the NFL. It happens every single solitary year. This is starting to bleed into the NFL.
It is.
And this, I think, is a great example.
Not at this level.
Look, the Texans will or should try to salvage the relationship.
It's going to be because Nick Caserio is not the problem. Like the guy they hired.
It's the ownership.
Right.
But that's worse.
But it can be smoothed over. I think it can be smoothed over based on
Austin,
on the first conversations and the first several conversations with Watson and Caserio, and then the new head coach who's hired.
The ownership told Deshaun Watson they were going to do something and then completely didn't do it.
I'm not advocating for how they handled it. I'm just saying I think it can be smoothed over.
So if I was Deshaun Watson, and I am not, for me, that's a no from me, dog. If they did that to me, if they said they were going to do something and involve me in a process and then did not at all, that's an issue.
I'm with G-Man. He says a simple, calm-headed sit-down talk will be all it takes. I agree.
What happened to the calm, simple sit-down talk when they said that they were going to involve Deshaun Watson?
It's probably over Zoom because COVID.
I'm talking. I know. I'm not joking.
Like,
I'm having a real discussion.
It's not gonna. It is a deal, right? Because now there's a lot more pressure on the head coach hire.
You lied to me.
Yeah, I get that.
You lied to me.
Again, I
take that personally.
So you think 51% chance Deshaun Watson forces a trade from the Texans?
Yeah,
I'm at 12.
It's not getting better. They can't go. Are they going to go out and get the next DeAndre Hopkins? No, they're not.
They don't have a first or second round pick.
They don't have it. And you know what?
So
JJ Watt, the second face of their franchise, if you watched the internet this week, you heard him after the Texans lost a heartbreaker to the Tennessee Titans for the AFC South division. They could have played spoiler. They did not. As they were walking off the field, you have JJ Watt apologizing for his team and franchise for wasting a year of Deshaun Watson's career.
Right.
That is impactful.
So let's move this forward. So you think 51% chance he forces a trade.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about who's going to move. Who is on the other side of the Texans that is going to make the move and what's a likely spot for DeShaun Watson. We are live here from Mill Creek Brewery in Nolensville. They've got the Del Rey Mexican Lager. This stuff is awesome. It's really cool. There's not really any local Mexican lagers like this in the Nashville area. So check them out, Mill Creek Brewery here in Nolensville. They got a great spot out here. Tons of games, 3 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday, and a big college football game Monday night. You can come watch. They got TVs over here. Their tap room is incredible. We're here in front of the fridges at Mill Creek Brewery in Nolensville.
Where could DeShaun Watson land? This is a great question because there are quarterback hungry teams. There always are, and there always will be in the NFL. There will be one team that does not have a quarterback, but has maybe a good market, a good franchise, but hasn't drafted well. Draft is sometimes it's luck. It's evaluation meets luck. I mean, that's what it is. I think ask the Kansas City Chiefs. I think evaluation met luck with the ability to draft Patrick Mahomes where they did. The evaluation to trade up and the luck that he was still there. You could
say the Texans did a good job with how they got DeShaun Watson as well.
Absolutely.
At 12th overall in that same draft as Mahomes.
Some teams thrown out there. Louis says the Patriots. Garland says Carolina. Steven says the Pats. Pats is an obvious one from G-Man on base. Daniel says the Dolphins trade back their own picks for him. I kind of love it.
And Tua.
I love it. The Indianapolis Colts, that wouldn't happen, Sean, because it's in the division.
No way.
So we'll throw that out. Frank Mo says possibly the Falcons, maybe the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's not going to happen with Terrence because it's in the same division. Jay Peasy says the Redskins, who play this week in a wild the Washington football team.
Washington.
We digress.
That's what they're called. You don't call the Jets the New York Titans anymore.
We digress. Preston says Denver, the Bears from Justin Churchill. And so there are some teams. A sleeper, Joe, says the Vikings possibly. Deontay says the Lions. A lot of teams thrown out there. What do you think? Amber goes with New England.
That's like the trading to the Colts. Like you're not going to trade Deshaun Watson to Bill Belichick.
It's a Garoppolo type move, right? Bill Belichick traded Jimmy Garoppolo, who, look, he went to a Super Bowl.
There's a big difference in this.
Outside of the conference.
Yes.
That's what you have to do.
Yes, and that's what I was going to get to. So NFC teams. He's not going to the Patriots. He's not going to the Colts. He's not going to the Dolphins. That makes no sense for the Texans to do that. I'm looking at, I think, Atlanta because they can't do Atlanta because they're paying too much for Matt Ryan. They would have to move Matt Ryan maybe, and I doubt the Texans want to take on Matt Ryan. What about the Philadelphia Eagles? The Philadelphia Eagles have the 6th overall pick. They're going to try to trade away Carson Wentz. They also have Jalen Hurts. So you can like Jalen Hurts, but to be honest, we all know Jalen Hurts is going to be limited. Like he might be able to win some games here and there in his first couple of years, but defenses are going to figure him out, and Jalen Hurts has a lower ceiling. The Eagles are in a diehard situation where they have to be able to get back to where they were a few years ago, and that was winning a Super Bowl. Carson Wentz didn't work out. They're outside the top 5, so they're probably not going to get one of the elite quarterback prospects. What about the Philadelphia Eagles? Because there are 2 quarterbacks the Texans could get back in return. I doubt it's Wentz because they don't want to take on that contract. What if the Eagles trade away Carson Wentz separately, and now the Texans might be interested in gaining Jalen Hurts for the certain, gap years?
It's a very unique idea. I think Carson Wentz would have to be involved. I don't think every NFL team is out on Carson Wentz. I don't think that every NFL team is completely out on Carson Wentz.
It depends on the head coach.
Right?
Right. And so the Texans are going to hire a head coach before any of this stuff can happen. And I forget his name off the top of my head right now. Actually, I might have it right here. But the Colts offensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, whose name is Matt Eberflus, is a head coaching candidate who was in Philly with Frank Reich and Carson Wentz when things were good. So is that
connection?
Now you have to the Texans have to have the forward thinking of hiring Eberflus first before a trade could happen.
What about this? All right. here's where I'm at. What about trading to the New Orleans Saints and getting Michael Thomas involved in the trade, who has not been happy this year? That because the Saints are going to have not that high of a draft pick, fair, right? And you should say that, but trade away value of a wide receiver. They just traded away DeAndre Hopkins. They get Michael Thomas. They're going to have to get a quarterback.
Eberflus is at DC, by the way. This is not a trade for players. This is a trade for draft picks. That's what the Texans need.
They need players, too.
They need draft picks.
And players.
But they need cheaper players. That's the problem. They're also $25 million cap. Now, they're probably going to part ways with several high cap numbers. And DeShaun Watson's trade, they'd have to eat some of it, and it would be included in their cap over the next couple of years. But the trade would help. But they need draft picks for cheap players. So that's the situation they're in.
Let's ask this question. Does it matter about DeShaun Watson's opinion on where he wants to go? We hear in the NBA, hey, I want to go this place. I want to go this place.
That's where I think the Jalen Hurts thing makes sense, because you get a cheap rookie contract quarterback who is not a first-round draft pick. So you can still have a guy that you might be able to do something with Jalen Hurts, and then dump DeShaun Watson's salary to Philadelphia if the Eagles can move Wentz ahead of time. There's just a lot of dominoes that have to happen.
I know. I think that I think the Saints are in a position that they know that they are going to be in quarterback territory very, very soon, sooner rather than later. Maybe here, maybe this weekend, maybe next weekend. Who knows, right?
Right.
Not this weekend. They play the Bears. But that is something the Saints and Sean Payton are aggressive. And that's why I wouldn't be surprised if that would be one of the teams out there. The Washington football team is very interesting because they have proven how good is the Washington football team. They made the playoffs because they played in the NFC East. They didn't make the playoffs because they were a stellar football team, right? So there's some window dressing there.
Sure.
If I'm Deshaun Watson, I don't want to go to Washington. I want to go to New Orleans.
Yeah, I don't want to go to Washington.
I want to go to New Orleans.
I would love to go to New Orleans.
That's where you need to be. Because Sean Payton, you've got Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas will be gone, but the Saints, they've proven they don't need a single superstar wide receiver to be successful within the offense.
Well, and you've got that division that we've talked about several times that's completely up for grabs almost every other year.
Yeah, I'm scared to death about that. It will reset.
All right, A to Z Sports here live on this Friday show from Mill Creek Brewery in Nolensville. That's very interesting. So let's move on to our next topic and talk about some of these playoff games, because there are big playoff games, and I've got a new betting strategy that I'm going to go after. But let's talk about potential upsets. And the Titans technically would be an upset if they beat the Ravens.
That's crazy.
What's the most likely upset this NFL wildcard weekend? What's the most likely upset this NFL wildcard weekend? But first, Zach, tell everybody about the Tucker Agency.
TuckerTN.com. That's where you need to go. That's where you need to email. Will@TuckerTN.com. All you have to do, compose an email today and say, heard about it on A to Z Sports. I'm trying to save money on my insurance. How do I do that? Their team will go through, look at your policy, and reorganize it. Still have great insurance coverage with life insurance, homeowners insurance, renters insurance. They will find a policy that has some sort of a bundle package. It's better than what you're paying now. The average customer that emails will@tuckertn.com saves 20% on their insurance. You can't beat that. That's 20%. Will@tuckertn.com.
A to Z Sports, great place to watch Saturday NFL football is right here at Mill Creek Brewery in Nolensville. They got the new Mexican lager Del Rey here at Mill Creek, and you see all the fridges behind us. They got all types of stuff. So whatever your flavor, whatever your taste buds might be wanting that particular day, they've got something for you here at Mill Creek Brewery. So what's the most likely upset this NFL weekend? And could it be the Titans are included in this, guys? Like, the Titans are a home playoff team who is an underdog. So Paul Allen says Bears beating the Saints. Ethan says Washington over Tampa, which makes Zach cringe. Loke Dog says Colts over the Bills. Jeff Rubel, who's a Colts fan as well, says Colts over Bills. Bills wide receivers might be out or at least limited. Alex says most likely he's going with the Colts. Velocity says Rams. Colts. Well, the Steelers don't play the Colts, Chris. Steven says Colts beating the Bills if anything happens to Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley today. So that's something people are watching for sure. Big Mac says Bears beat the Saints. Washington over the Bucks from Amber. So, Zach, how do you feel about this? Because we've got your Bucks are a trendy pick here on our comments.
I'm not bullish on Tampa. Tampa, I've seen them play bad football.
They're the second biggest point spread
because of the
weekend.
Because of the Washington football.
Road 8-point favorite.
Yeah.
The Saints are a 10-point favorite at home, but the Bucks going to Washington 8 points at mybookie.ag.
Here's why I think Tampa will win. I'm not talking about spreads. I'm talking about win. I'm just trying to fire them cannons this weekend. Tampa is playing well right now. And Mike Evans, game time decision, I don't necessarily think they need Mike Evans to win this game. Godwin has come on. You have Antonio Brown. You can talk about who he is as a guy, but he has started to find his stride as an NFL wide receiver again later on in this season. They found some sort of running game without Ronald Jones because Leonard Fournette has stepped up because they stopped passing him the damn ball out of the backfield because he can't catch. Tampa's defense, I like the back half of the defense and what they're doing. I don't think Tampa is in this. And you could call me biased,
you don't
and
think
that's
they're in
fine.
this conversation?
I don't think they're in this conversation of being upset. And I will knock on a ton of wood because I don't want that to happen.
I agree.
I think honestly,
most likely upset because let's look at the spreads.
Here it is. It's easy. The most likely upset, and it's an upset, are the Titans beating the Ravens. They have the best offense. They've beaten them earlier this year. They're at home. They have Derrick Henry. They have Ryan Tannehill. They're coming off of a massive win. A.J. Brown, Mike Vrabel, quality head coach that has last year won in the playoffs. The answer is the Tennessee Titans. I'm actually kind of surprised nobody's saying this. But that's my pick because they are an underdog. So an upset, the Tennessee Titans are the answer.
What about the Bills dropping one of the Colts?
No.
Well, the Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley thing is important. If Cole Beasley's, I think, less likely to play. Diggs is they're both probably going to fight through it, but it's the playoffs. They're going to go do it. But if they're not completely healthy, how effective are they going to be? And the Colts defense is pretty good.
They're not playing very well. If you watch the Jags game.
Yeah, and you watched it closer than I on your computer at the Mainstay last week. But
the Jags, they had some drives on that defense. They did. And Phillip Rivers hit like a buzzsaw in the third quarter. He went back-to-back 3-and-outs. I think he's a good quarterback. We all think he's a good quarterback. He's not past his prime now.
He can be both.
He's more good than past his prime.
Past his prime.
We've established that on this show, which I'm glad. He's more good than past his prime. But I think the Bills, they're the second hottest team in the AFC. They are.
They're also
the second best. They're a second seed.
When's the last time they've won a playoff game?
Doesn't matter.
Zach, hold on, time out. You always talk about playoff experience.
They have it.
Losing. They have losing playoff experience.
Last year's game was a grow-up game. If you've listened to what I've said, and I know that I think you have, maybe you haven't, but I said that is experience they got from last year. Josh Allen made the mistake, and I said that man grew up. I'm pro Josh Allen. You were anti-Josh Allen at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and then I also said that, Zach, come on. You can't just say that.
That is true.
Yes, but then I also, by the time they played the Titans, I was like, you know what? Josh Allen proved me wrong. So you got to give me more credit when I say that I'm wrong. When I admit that I'm wrong, I didn't
say that you didn't admit you're wrong. I was just stating what you thought.
You're cherry picking.
I'm not cherry picking. That's what you thought about Josh Allen.
Yes, and then
you were right on Drew Lock. I'll give you credit on that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But you were wrong on Josh Allen.
Yes, and then I also admitted, but you always point out when I'm wrong.
Because I hold you accountable. You point out when I'm wrong.
You got to give me credit for when I change my opinion and admit that I was wrong.
Well, no, I go by what you originally thought. I got a steel trap up here. I listen to what you say.
Yeah.
I value you.
And thank you, Shrike. I'm also right on Jared Goff.
Well, Jared Goff went to a Super Bowl. So
yeah, Sean McVay puppeteered Jared
Goff went to a damn Super Bowl. So you were wrong on Jared Goff.
I was
wrong
right on Jared Goff. He's a puppet.
Ryan Tannehill hadn't gone to a Super Bowl.
I know that.
Jared Goff has.
Sean McVay.
So you were wrong.
I will pull the strings on Jared Goff.
Strike. The results are in, and that's a lie.
All right. So you think the Titans are?
Yes. Out of all the teams, because they have the home field advantage, they have the prolific offense, the dynamic offense. They got a trash-ass defense, but they shouldn't be underdogs, but they are. So that's the closest matchup, right?
Rob says Zach's memory is unreal. It's because Zach always banks stuff away that he can use to spite other people later on.
No, I listen. I listen.
But you use it because you hear things and go, I'm going to use this years down the road just to get you.
Well, I hold it's accountability.
You hold grudges.
No, it's accountability.
You do.
I know. Look, you guys hold me accountable.
I know. All right. So here's what I've done because I agree. I think there are two games that I wasn't going to touch at mybookie.ag. It's the Titans-Ravens game, and it's also the Rams-Seahawks game because the unpredictability of Goff's thumb.
Well, and Goff. He's a quality guy, right?
No, but I mean,
he's way upset.
Of course, he's way better than anything else the Rams.
That's what I was saying. I think he's a quality quarterback too.
Here's
that can upset the Seahawks.
I
like this pick.
Here's my new betting. I did not pick that. I didn't. I stayed away because those are the two smallest spreads. The Titans are 3-point underdogs, and the Rams are 3.5-point underdogs. Here's what I've done. I've never done this before. I've always kind of thought about this, not sure how it's going to work, but at mybookie.ag, use code MyTitans. I want somebody to roll with me on this. MyTitans at mybookie.ag. You get extra cash with your first deposit. I took 4 money lines and parlayed them together. So I took the Bucks versus Washington. That money line was minus 425. I took the Saints money line versus the Bears, which is minus 520. I took the Bills money line versus the Colts, which was minus 300, and the Steelers money line against the Browns minus 270. So individually, these are bad picks, right? Because the spreads are so big, the money line odds are not beneficial, but I parlayed them all together for a plus 180 number. So that's my new strategy. And I want somebody, you want to roll with me on this? You want to do this?
No,
I want somebody
it's all you.
I want somebody to play along.
Josh will. Josh says, "What's the code to my bookie?"
My Titans.
It's My Titans.
We don't
usually spell on this show, but we're doubling down because the Houston Texans is bleak. I'm adding 3 E's. BLEEEK. And then we'll spell out My Titans. That's MYTITANS. That's Titans, right? 2 things I'm really bad at: directions and spelling.
Yes.
But self-awareness. So Josh says, what's the code? That's My Titans. He'll roll with you.
Okay, Josh, do it. So again, I'm taking the Bucks money line, the Saints money line, the Bills money line, and the Steelers money line. I'm taking those 4 favorites, parlaying them together for plus 180. I feel like I can make a little bit of money off of this. It's an absolute test balloon, but I'm curious to see if it happens because I think the Steelers beat the Browns. I think the Browns not having Kevin Stefanski is a big problem, obviously. I think the Bills do beat the Colts. All they can do is win, not cover. The Saints, Alvin Kamara tweeted last night, see you guys Sunday. And then you see I think the Bucs are going to beat Washington. So
I hope you're right on that. So what was your most likely upset? You still hadn't answered. You said 2.
I said the Titans.
Well, you also threw the Rams in there. So
I said the Titans are the most likely upset, and there's 2 games I did not pick in this bet, and it's the 2 smaller spreads.
So we do agree on the Titans.
Yes, yeah, because they're home underdogs, and I believe more in the Titans beating the Ravens than the Washington football team beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Man, I can't wait for Saturday night. We're waiting all day for Sunday night. No. I'm waiting all day for Saturday night.
Yes. Dom says parlays are the best thing about sports betting, and Tom immediately says parlays are a great way to give your money away. But I'm doing favorites to win outright and throwing those together. It's not the best odds. It's not plus 2,000 or anything, plus 180, but it's good. I think it's fine, and we'll see what happens.
All right, there we go. Quickly, Austin, which non-Titans playoff game are you looking most forward to?
Bills Colts, because I think that impacts the Titans the most. Because if you're a Titans fan, you want the Colts to beat the Bills. The Colts beat the Bills, Titans beat the Ravens. You go to Pittsburgh, you can win at Pittsburgh. You can't win at Kansas City or at Buffalo.
Will you think differently about Pittsburgh if they blow the doors off of the Browns?
No, because the Browns situation is unfortunate. With Stefanski's their head coach.
Are you just talking about their franchise in general?
Yeah, you can say that. But this, like, how much does that suck? Like, how much does that really suck? The team years, and their head coach can't be there.
No one.
Who also calls their plays.
No one cares.
Oh, Cleveland cares.
Nobody cares about Cleveland.
I agree, but that just sucks.
I'm a LeBron guy.
Like, what is,
I cared about Cleveland for actually a good portion of my life. But
put yourself in those shoes.
I no longer care about Cleveland.
It's Friday. Put yourself in those shoes, Titans fans. Arthur Smith goes on the COVID list. Now, how do you feel? Your first playoff game at home in 12 years, and your offensive coordinator is not going to be there? Yeah, that sucks. That's what I'm saying. Like, that just sucks if you're a Browns fan.
Give the ball to Derrick Henry.
Is that the mask Mike Vrabel wears?
Right? Give the ball to Derrick Henry.
Yeah. All right. So let's get, Zach, you have this.
Oh, you didn't ask me what non-Titans game
so
are you looking for?
Well, I know yours. Yours is the Bucks Washington.
Oh, yes, it is. It is. I mean, for the first time since 2007, we've got some cannons being fired. This is great. This is huge. This is Tampa Bay, baby. This is Tom Brady. Look, I want Tom Brady to have success. He's already proven that the New England Patriots, that whole deal was Tommy boy. That was a Tom thing.
Yeah.
Now, Bill Belichick, those two together, that was the full success. But the fact that if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a team. That is 100% guaranteed. Look at the two teams that are the number one seeds in this year's playoffs. Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, the two best quarterbacks on the planet. That tells you everything you need to know. So Tom Brady being in there, I cannot wait. Oh, yeah. Let's go. Saturday night.
All right, A to Z Sports here live here from Mill Creek Brewery. Zach, you have a game that we're all going to play.
No, that you're going to play.
That I'm going to play. Are they playing too?
They can watch.
Okay, so I'm playing a game that Zach has for me. I have no idea what.
I think that you will be able to do this. I have confidence in you. You say that I always pull out all the bad things. No. I believe in Austin Stanley.
Okay, that's good. So before you play this pop-up game about the NFL playoffs and other things, tell everybody about Calvin and Settle.
Calvin and Settle is where you need to get your hardwood floors. It's very, very easy on you and your family to upgrade your home. CalvinandSettle.com. 1 to 2 weeks once you pick out your perfect hardwood floors, they've got you covered. They will come in there, install right there, 1 to 2 weeks, and you have brand new living room, brand new den, brand new kitchen. Rip up that old carpet that you've been dealing with in 2020. Make it a new 2021 at CalvinandSettle.com.
It is esports. Also, later on today, 1 o'clock, we're going to have a Doc Talk segment with the Bone and Joint Institute talking about A.J. Brown's ankle. We've got Dr. Stark from the Bone and Joint Institute to come on with us to talk about.
That will be interesting.
That will be very interesting. We've done several of these in the past. They've always been very informational and very good to know. So Doc Talk, Bone and Joint Institute segment coming up at 1 o'clock Central Time today.
So the draft pick number of every starting quarterback in the NFL playoffs this year. Now, okay. You see what I'm saying? So you know all the quarterbacks. This is where I'm going to give you the benefit, right? So how many teams? There's 14 teams this year.
So I have to say the draft slot, like the round and like
right. We'll do round because I have the number. There's no way that you'll be able to guess the number.
I can go round and then for bonus points try the number.
That is fair. So I have all of these. I would suggest start with the number one overall picks. And I will give you this out of the gate.
Let's just go by, we're going by player, right? Like
yeah.
Okay.
Quarterback, right? I'll give you this out of the gates. Here's your hint. There are 3 number one picks that are quarterbacking
overall?
Their teams
And one overall
in this
picks.
year's play.
Okay. All right. So I just have to list them. You're not saying
this is
quarterback, what round would
this is connect. Yeah, because there's you'll be able
so
to
I'm just gonna pull up because I've got the team.
No. You can look at the teams.
That's
you
what I'm saying. I'm looking at the teams. So all I need is the rounds, right? So Phillip Rivers for the Colts was drafted first round, 4th overall.
That is
by
correct.
by the New York Giants.
That is correct.
Buffalo Bills drafted Josh Allen 7th overall.
That is correct.
The Rams drafted Jared Goff, number 1 overall.
There's one.
I'm going to skip the Seahawks and come back to it. Well, I know Russell will. Okay, I'm going to skip it. Let's see. Tampa Bay, 199, 6th round, Mr. Tom Brady.
That is correct.
Washington football team, Alex Smith by the Niners, number 1.
That is correct.
Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, 1st round, 32nd overall, traded back up.
That is correct.
Ryan Tannehill, Tennessee Titans with the 8th overall pick, 1st round, Miami Dolphins.
That is correct.
Yep. Chicago Bears, Mitch Trubisky starting.
He is.
2nd overall, traded up, stupid, and 1st round.
That is correct.
Drew Brees, high 2nd round pick. I want to say like 35 to 37 by the Chargers back in the day.
So what is your final number?
It was like, I'm going to go with 34, actually.
You're 2 off. He was the 32nd pick.
Was that a year? That was pre-Texans. Dang it. Okay.
You played yourself.
I did. That was really good. I was still right, though, right?
Yeah. Well, yes, you were doing a lot better.
Yeah.
You set a high bar at this, right? So you're doing well.
Yes. Cleveland Browns, Baker Mayfield, number 1 overall. And then Big Ben Roethlisberger in the same draft as Eli and Phil Rivers.
Now, this is going to be.
This was the Steelers' 7th overall, Big Ben Roethlisberger.
He was picked 11th.
7-11. That was close. But 1st round, I still got it.
No Slurpee for you.
All right. Russell Wilson was drafted 94th overall in the NFL draft.
Russell Wilson, you're saying
94th overall.
that is incorrect.
But it's 3rd round.
75th.
75th?
Yes.
I thought he and Josh Dobbs were used the same draft pick. But 3rd round was correct.
You were correct on
So
3.
I got all the rounds right.
And you just missed 3. Roethlisberger, Breeze.
But those are my bonus points.
Yeah, Roethlisberger, Breeze,
So I got
Wilson.
I got 11 bonus points.
I had confidence in you. I believe in you. That was good. And I knew that was set. But so not many people I don't think could have done that.
No, well, I'm different. I'm a nerd. Like not many people. I don't think anybody else can tell you what was the jersey uniform combination the last Titans home playoff game for both teams, for the Titans and the Ravens.
The Titans were wearing light blue over navy, and the Ravens were wearing white over black.
Titans, Ravens, playoff
2008.
2009.
That's right.
Okay.
I would bet
that's
$1,000.
I'm just fact checking real quick. What'd you say again?
Light blue over navy and white over black.
Nailed it. 4 for 4 on that one. So look, you're weird in some ways. I'm weird in my ways.
I love that game.
All right, A to Z Sports. Let's get to our end of show topic, and that is Ain't That Good News? What's your good news this week? Ain't That Good News every Friday here on A to Z Sports, live from Mill Creek Brewery. But first, let me tell you guys about Renters Warehouse. Here's some great news. If you want to earn long-term equity, get that mailbox money rolling, use renterswarehouse.com, the professional landlords in the Nashville area, to help you and your family create extra cash flows. That mailbox money is great. Or if you're currently renting, want to rent out a different house, renterswarehouse.com has a great inventory of homes in the Nashville and surrounding area. Renterswarehouse.com is where to go.
A to Z Sports, a special thanks of where we've been broadcasting. This is where, hey, you want to come out, you can watch the game, but if you're in Nolensville, Mill Creek Brewing right here, they've got a tap room. They've got this great Del Rey Mexican lager. They've got hazy IPAs. They have really expanded their brands. They have a ton of different beers, and they are delicious. They are. Austin and I, we had the coffee oatmeal stout the last time we were there.
And there's now an oatmeal stout. There's a coffee stout and an oatmeal stout.
Right? So, again, expanding the brand that is Mill Creek Brewing. Like them on Facebook. We've tagged them in our Facebook feed. Support them. $3.50 drafts. You can't beat that at the mainstay. if you don't know where to watch this game, or if you're trying to pregame before you walk over, come visit us at the Mainstay. That's where our pregame show will be on Sunday.
All right, Rudy says, good news. I've not drank soda so far this year, doing the challenge where he doesn't do soda for
And you know what?
year.
One thing we know, Rudy loves soda.
Yes, and Rudy, it's day 8, so you got a long way to go, but you can't be successful without being successful the first 8
So
days.
we
Rudy,
support you, Rudy.
I'm with you, because I used to be New Year's resolution food guy, where I just give up food for a while. I didn't eat a single tortilla chip in the entire year of 2018.
Very impressive.
So Rudy,
have you got anything this year? Are you trying to? Are you trying to run a sub 6 mile or something?
Yeah, I think sub 6 miles on the horizon.
You think you could do that?
I do.
I don't think so.
I do think I can.
You think you could run a sub 6 mile outside? I'm talking not on a treadmill.
No, I know.
Okay.
The treadmill time is speedy.
Right.
Treadmill time smoking, guys.
But it's not indicative of your true speed, right?
I mean, my treadmill time is fast regardless of being on a treadmill.
Not doubting that. I'm just kind of inquiring about your sub 6 mile.
Kelkin says, dude, that's moving. I ran a sub 6 mile last night.
Where? On a
treadmill.
Treadmill?
Yeah. Treadmill, not meal.
Well, you're not going to get 6 minutes.
I ran
outside
last night, 5:43.
We can put this in place.
I know, but
I'll put up some dollars. I'll give you some bet money.
I gotta wait for the weather to be right.
What do you mean wait for the weather?
For my lungs,
you think you can
do
it now, though?
You
can't do it now.
Not outside right now because it's
do it.
January 8th.
You can't do it.
That's dumb as hell.
You
No,
can't do it
right now. No, because it's freezing cold outside.
You don't have the ability, right?
Right now, outside, no.
You don't have the ability.
You're a psychopath if you go running outside right now.
Well, because you don't have the ability to do the 6 minute mile.
Not right now. I just did it yesterday. My legs are
No, I'd give you a couple of days, next week or so.
No, I'm not doing it until the weather is better. I'm not going to do it before March.
So March 1st.
March 1st can still be really cold in Nashville. I'm not going to do it before March. We can do this. We're going to do this.
Right, but you now have time to train. That's where that is what I'm, right? That's the unfair advantage. If you tell me, hey, you can't do something, I'm going to train to do that.
I'm with Big League Designs. Under 6 minutes, even on a treadmill, is nice.
We're not debating nice.
It's fast.
You can't run a sub 6 outside. You can't do it.
I think I can. Yes.
I've yet to see you run 4 laps, which is true.
If you're
a real true A to Z sports fan,
you know
what I'm talking about. There's documentation on that too.
I'm not even in the best shape I was in like in the summer right now. Hunter says do it in a gym.
That's not the bet, Hunter.
You said non-treadmill. I could do it like in an indoor gym, but you're gonna have to run like 18 laps and then you just get dizzy and you lose count.
You don't get dizzy, but I'd like to do it the right way.
We'll do it in March. We'll do it the right way.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. And of course we're gonna do it live.
All right.
Damn, Monsoon says 1.5 miles in 9:28 in January. Just gotta push it. That's not bad. Big League Dream just says set the treadmill outside. Then you can
don't tell me I believed in that you could do the trivia. You told me yesterday you're going to try to run a sub 6 mile on the treadmill, and you did it. So I believe.
I smoked it.
I doubt you 100% that you can do it outside.
Now, what's your treadmill speed on the miles?
I'm not claiming to do it.
I told you yesterday I'm trying to get a sub 6 minute mile Thursday night. Right. And I smoked it. 5:43.
Right. That's not something that I'm into.
And I felt good.
That does not get my rocks off of running a sub 6 on a machine. That doesn't get me off. I'm sorry. I got other things. Not that. It's just but for you, look, you have transformed your lifestyle, and that's impressive. More credit to you. But don't sit there and turn around and be like, you can't do it. Yeah. No, duh, because I don't want to, right? It's people about just anything. So that's what I would say.
Tom says, my good news is A to Z bets are back, baby. Well, we've got I need to get paid up in my college football picks.
Well, that's why I'll put $300 on this sub 6 mile.
But March. We'll revisit in March.
Okay.
And we'll put it down.
Fair.
And yeah, Mandu helps. Mandu's the reason why I've completely changed. I couldn't have done it without Mandu.
All right. I have my good news is pretty standard, and I have to take advantage of this because it only comes around so often. So the reason why I do this show is because I'm a sports fan. The reason why I'm a sports fan is because I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. I don't pull any punches about that, but I've gone through the throes of crap-ass quarterbacks, from Bruce Gradkowski to Mike Glennon to Josh Freeman. The list goes on and on. Jameis Winston, he was god-awful. I've just seen it all. The football gods have blessed me with Tom Brady this year. And I thank the football gods for that. And I want a little bit more out of the football gods than just a wild card weekend. I am so amped on Saturday night in Washington. Tampa will suit up for postseason play. So I'm ready. That's my good news.
That's good.
That is a pan-personal. I'm a happy camper. Nothing. We're going all the way up, baby. Nothing can stop me. We're all the way up.
Nice. And Monsoon's right. Zach, you've been through the same hell Titans fans have been through.
Except I have a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
not
but
me personally, but as a fan.
That's pre-hell, though.
Right. It's true.
Yeah, things
are a lot better when you had John Lynch on your team.
What, 07? Is that what?
07.
07, 09. I mean, the Titans have made the playoffs since there, but home playoff game for the Titans and Bucks have been a long time coming. And you had to watch Jameis Winston for 16 games for 5 years, and I don't understand how you did that. Absolute misery.
It's dedication.
My good news.
How do you watch Jake Locker or Zach Menberger?
Aaron asked if you ever watch baseball or basketball.
Do I watch baseball or basketball? I've seen that movie.
No, baseball or basketball. Yeah, you watch a lot of basketball.
Do I watch basketball? Yes, I watch basketball. I've probably seen, I would confidently say I've seen 65% of LeBron James regular season games.
Lot of late night hoops out there on the West Coast.
It's more difficult since he's gone to LA.
You wish he was back in Cleveland. You would have cared about that.
Yeah,
I 7 p.m. tip off.
Miami. When he played for Miami, I watched every game.
You watched it while you were eating dinner.
For the 4 years of his Miami Heat career, I watched every game.
Yeah,
and Cleveland helped too, but nobody cares about Cleveland anymore.
My good news is tonight have some friends in town, so we are going to Top Golf.
Ooh, that's always
it's gonna
be
cold,
experience.
but they got those big ass heaters out there.
It's gonna be cold,
but they're good, huge heaters. So I think we'll be all right.
That's a fun experience.
It is, and I haven't been to Top Golf. I don't know, 2 years, year and a half.
Well, and it's good. It's strategic. They have the bays, right? So social distancing.
Oh, of course, it's a max of 6 regardless.
Right.
So that Top Golf was kind of set up for this. Top Golf's been through a crazy year too because the tornado. So it's been. I think
they've lost some money after making a ton.
Well, I haven't been in 2 summers because of football season. I have no time. Winter, it's cold, and so then what happened this past year? So, looking forward to that. Steph says he almost tore his ACL playing Top Golf, but you didn't. Almost did. All right, A to Z Sports. If you did tear your ACL, you go to Bone and Joint Institute. We'll have a doc talk with them later on today, 1:00 Central Time. So get your notifications ready. So we're talking about AJ Brown's ankle with Dr. Stark of the Bone and Joint Institute. And Zach, you have Madden coming up shortly.
I do. Titans hosting the Ravens. We'll play it out in a virtual world. I'm doing 10-minute quarters accelerated clock. We're going to go authentic right here, right? I've got the jersey combinations, at least for the Titans. I got to find out the jersey combinations for the Ravens leading into this game.
You lost to the Ravens this year.
I did. Lamar Jackson's
one of your
tough.
2 losses?
Yes, but I'm still the number 1 seed.
Yeah, so this is technically not your franchise playoff.
No, this has nothing to do with we're just going to.
So we'll see if you can win without Clowney, if you can win without some of the other.
Good thing I've got Wyatt Ray.
Is Lawan?
Yeah, he's not in.
He's not?
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
Maybe we get some
it's going to be real tough.
Some time from Isaiah.
Yeah, right. All right, y'all have a great weekend. Again, Mill Creek Brewery. If you're watching NFL games all weekend long, college football playoff on Monday. Mill Creek Brewery in Nolensville. Come out here, enjoy a lot of their great beer. Mexican lager, the Del Rey right here is fantastic. Any of the stuff behind us, also great. I had their seltzers like 2 weeks ago. Good stuff too.
And shout out to Jabu, a 6-time Love of the Show champion this week. He got his 6th Love of the Show.
I believe Jabu's probably top the leaderboard.
That's dedication, Holmes.
All right, guys.
Respect.
Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys Sunday for Titans-Ravens playoff version.
Adios.